Learning the 37.73 miles and 264 corners of the Isle of Man TT course is probably the toughest job in motorcycle racing whenever it comes to track knowledge. I've always said that the thing that really differentiates TT racers, the thing that makes me know that they're not the crazy lunatics that a lot of people presume they are, is the incredible athleticism that they need to learn this course and to know every single nook and cranny of it. We wanted to try and show that a little bit to you guys at home, to try and explain a little bit of just how skilled you need to be to come here. And we thought there's no better way to do it than to go out on the track with one of the stars of the TT. So thankfully, I managed to recruit podium finisher Dom Herbertson. We jumped on board his sponsor Alan Gardner's bike and we rode a lap of the course during what should have been a practice session but was called off because of weather on the mountain section of the course, as you'll see later in this video. But I mean, what we learned from watching Dom and from listening to him is just absolutely incredible. I hope you enjoy it because I think it's a phenomenal learning experience, one that I'm privileged to have and one that hopefully helps explain not just this course but a little bit more into just how prepared that these guys have to be before they come and take it on.
Sentite altre persone?
Yeah.
Go.
This must be the stupidest feeling in the world on a superbike.
A non c'è il rosso ancora.
We're picking up their channel. We're coming down there. We'll give it a bit of space, see if they cut off our channel.
Where are you from?
What the hell are they? So you can see already the mist coming in up the mountain here.
Yeah.
But even the first night of practice coming down the hill, like you're still flat stick on the pattern, it fully beaches out. But you see on the left hand side, Simon.
Yeah.
See how it's black, white. So where we go on the bike is here. So you see the colour change.
Yeah.
That's when you start the counter steer in. And then you see the colour change between the brown tarmac and the black tarmac.
Yeah.
Because the closer you go in, the more belly pan you get. So on the Super Twin, you want to be far out. But on the big bike, because you can get the space under the suspension, you want to be as tight in. Because coming over here, you're just on the back brake, 180 mile an hour, and the front wheel comes back down around about now. But like throughout practice week, and even like obviously not this practice week because it's weather, but throughout practice week, especially race pace, you can actually see like the black lines up the front tire coming down. It's just like a straight line, and that's a mixture between all the bikes. You know, the Super Sport, the Superbike, they all seem to travel the same.
Yeah.
Now, 3 years ago, this used to be actually a jump coming in the Quarterbridge, but they've smoothed it out. The first year I came over this, when they smoothed it, I was actually pulling on the bars just to get a reference. But you come over, the second you land, you've actually hooked the gear out before the jump, and this road end, this way you're fully hard on the brakes. And you've got 24 litres on board, you've got no heat in the pads, nothing. And you're straight over on the left. You can see with the damp on the road, if we've got it now, and we have indicators, which I've never indicated before down here. Ever? Right, go on. See, we're going. Knee down. But you get behind the giveaway mark there. That's it. But what you got to remember is, like, you've done over a mile at this point already. But you're psychologically telling yourself that's the first right. So normally a BSB, MotoGP, doesn't matter what level you're at, you got a pit lane on your knee. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you've done over a mile, upright, no brakes, nothing, and then suddenly you ask everything up the right-hand side of the tyre, and then Bridge is the first time you're using the left-hand side. But a braking reference for coming down here, so you get all the way up to 5th gear. So you actually use 5th as a bit of an overdrive, so it's comfortably 4th on a big bike. But you can see in front of you where the car's turning in, where the road splits on the arrows.
Yeah.
See this paint? We're about to ride over it right now on the right.
Yeah.
This is a braking marker here. So unfortunately we've got, like, I tell you what, the traffic. What we do is this, we come all the way out, and then we start to peel in on the last arrow. So you don't need to go as far out past that white line on the right.
Yeah.
And then you hug in, you just come to the right-hand side of the arrow. You can see this was bad last night. See the water coming out the tarmac. You work left, and then you work right as hard as you can. You're like, bang, straight in. So you've come from down all the way to 2nd gear, and then you hook 3rd to balance the bike. Then up here, you've just worked the left and right hand side of the tyre. They are scrubbed now. And the next kink, this isn't even a kink to us. It's 2 mile in. It's not even a kink. Snowborough on the left is argumentatively a corner. There's 264 corners on plus on the circuit.
Yeah.
But this, if you can hit the corner flat out, you don't see many riders talking about it as a corner.
Yeah, okay.
You know, this isn't a problem area for bikes. You know, so you're right on the right-hand side of the road. You know, I'm on the middle, behaving the law. Yeah. But now you're actually early apexing now, and it just rises up away from you.
Right, okay.
But now you're on public roads, on a 30 mile an hour, you see that oncoming arrow on your right-hand side there, Simon, where the car's going over right now?
Yeah.
There, you hook a gear out in a big bike, and where the van is, the transporter, you hook another gear out. And then, when you're halfway down the Union Mills, you hook another gear out. So that's from 6th gear, boom, 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 all the way down to 3rd. Has this got a clipper? No, it does not. Might have done that the wrong way around. So, coming in the Union Mills, drain cover under the lamppost, see it?
Yeah.
That's your apex. But feel this on a bike. Like, in a car it's bad, but over this you go...
Yeah.
Feel that bump.
Yeah.
Like that, like on everything, you're going through there in 3rd gear and it just livens up. Then you come down to 4th and you're trying to get the bike over to the left-hand side. Now, if you mess up Union Mills, you fundamentally mess up Ballacrye, and then on a 600, on a super sport bike, you don't shut the throttle from Union Mills all the way to the Highlander. And that's just shy of 2 mile. You know, and everyone says, oh, you don't need you need the fastest bike you can get your hands on for this event.
Yeah.
2 mile. You know, the Northwest, you know what I mean? It's like them junctions, you know, it's so hard to get to them. You need the pace to get there.
Yes.
Now,
yeah, I mean, everyone thinks of the Northwest as the fast one, but there's nowhere in the Northwest, nowhere with the chicanes, that you're doing 2 miles.
Yep, exactly.
Nowhere close to it.
And like, exactly. And you come up the Ballacrye, and like on a big bike, you get on the brow of the hill, you hook a gear out just to load up the front, to keep the front down in the corner to make it.
Yeah.
And what I want you to look for, Simon, is like, my dad has raced classic bikes my entire life. He's not done a lot of modern machinery at all, really.
Mm-hmm.
But the first time he ever took me for a lap, believe it or not, is when I did the classic TT. You know, he never took me for laps prior. You know, I was always working it. But now we're approaching the Guy Martin corner, where he stepped off at 180 plus mile an hour. But on a big bike, you get past the 30, and you can see the patch on the right, but you hold left. My dad taught me, never ever guess the curb. You guess the curb, you're going to get killed.
Okay.
So look for it on the right-hand side, Simon. Keep an eye out for it. Keep an eye out for it. White curb. You see it? You see it? You see it?
Got it.
There. See, the second you see it, that's what you aim for.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people have come up that hill knowing the curb's coming. And then if you come over here, shut throttle, you've lost all your drive and you've lost all your inertia to keep going.
Yeah.
You guessed that, you're getting hurt.
Fair.
Now, I remember breaking down on that corner and listening to sidecars come through. Holy shit. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's just, yeah, I've watched from the garden on the left just as you come in, and it's just, there's nothing like it.
Nah. All wheels are drifting all the way through.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely, it's bananas.
Whenever I first went to MotoGP, everyone told me, oh, you have to go to, you know, the crest over the hill on the straight at Mugello. Everyone told me, you have to go and watch there, you have to go watch there. And I went, and it was like, yeah, this is nice, but like, it's not, you know, it's not Barregarrow, it's not Gorslee, it's not Quarry Bends, because you're so far away from it.
Yes, exactly. And considering you can park, like, you know, you're coming out here and you've got the Mrs. Miggins with a cup of tea sitting on the edge of the wall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's no, like, there's nothing like that. You know, like, yes, you get that in Irish racing, but not to this level.
No.
You know what I mean? And especially like the North, the Ulster that we don't unfortunately have anymore. That was in the hills of Belfast. You could understand that track. You could understand that clinicalisation of it. But here, look at that. You got billionaires who probably can't even spell their own name, and they don't even realise what they're living outside of. It's incredible. But this is like, now we're coming into Crosby. Same thing again. You know, your first couple of nights, you're holding your breath coming through here, and I'm riding Alan Gardner's Honda Fireblade, and the first night you come through, you're like, Jesus, you know, your brain's alive, and you're like, my God. But then the second night, you go through there flat out. It doesn't require any less balls, but in the same breath, you've customized yourself to it. Your body knows it's coming.
Yeah.
You relax a bit more, and then in essence, it feels slower. Look at the size of that cock. See it? You don't see that?
Yeah.
There's got to be some money in that.
That's gonna distract you now a week.
Here we go. Get rid of these boys.
Yeah.
Put some gloves on your mugs. And we are doing 4. It has a quick shift there, ladies and gentlemen. It has a quick shift there. But I tell you what, when you come to Crosby,
Yeah.
like all the wind, we've done 5 miles at this point. Now, on a windy day, there's no windsock. The wind can get right underneath you, and the bike can just go so light. But, my God, it is so fast. so fast. But like I was saying, you come round out Union Mills on a super sport, you've held Ballacrye flat out,
Yeah.
flat stick, big bike, you've shoved the gear back. And all this is bloody hell. Well, Michael Dunlop went through the speed trap on his Ducati at 171 mile an hour. He's doing 171 mile an hour down here. And a lot of people don't know, but you actually gauge the gearing for the Isle of Man at Crosby. Because on the thinner part of the tyre, the RPM picks up. You don't gear it for Sulby, you don't gear it for the mountain mile, you gear it for here.
Okay.
Greeba Castle. Now, you shut off, you knock a gear out. That's the first apex, you miss it. You go for the second, which is here. You let the bike drift out. There's a mirror on the right-hand side. You've hooked another gear out, and this is just class. So now you just go bang, left. But then feel like, now, every road in the world's a camber change on the road.
Yeah.
And the bike just bottoms and drives. But here, if you get it right, you should be a off that barrier.
Okay.
But, oh, mate, it's just phenomenal. But in an evening practice, the sun's beaming through down here through Appledene.
Yeah.
So now you work the right, but you've got to make the road open up, because when you work the right and you swing it left, and all this is on 100% throttle, and then you work it right again. It is phenomenal. Oh, it's class, isn't it?
It's no wonder that you boys come and ride this.
It's just, it's speed. I don't even know, but you're probably like 4th, and then you click back up to 5th. Like, you don't need 5th, but 5th just lets the engine have a relax.
Yeah.
But now we're coming up to Greeba Bridge. Hold on, let me get me rats right. It signs there, Greeba Bridge, thank God. Drain cover on the right-hand side. That's your braking marker.
Okay.
There. Hook out a couple more gears. Let me shift the gear down. So you're out wide, you bring it in. For the point of the bridge, which is here, that's your apex. And lift it out. What you're going to look for, you see on the right, Simon?
Yeah.
See how the curbs are lowered and chamfered?
Yeah.
So if we run on, we can actually mount the curb. Them little things that make the track so much safer.
Yes. Just give you a bit of margin.
That's it. But you know what's... You know, I have this argument all the time. The track's not dangerous.
Yeah.
The track is an inanimate object. It's the riders that push our set. Like I'm a racer, and it's how hard you're willing to push yourself.
Yes.
And that's what makes it dangerous. 7 miles in, telegraph poles. 1, 2, 3, yay! And then back in. Fresh tarmac, ghostly. If you're going to watch them anywhere.
Agreed.
That is a place to watch. I've never watched them there myself.
Have you not?
No,
I know an ex-racer who watched him there recently. Said he was considering coming back and having another go at the TT. Watched one night from there and decided, nah, retirement's good for me.
Right? I wonder who that was. He'll probably never tell us either. There we are, which is understandable. So now we've actually got 300, 200 and 100, 6-gear big bike, you're actually at the 100-yard mark, then braking.
Okay,
That late, and I'm not even late enough. You know what I mean? Like, it's because Ballacrye's one of the only parts of the track where you have got run on.
Yeah.
So straight in front of you, you've got peel. You're out where I am now, and then you apex in. Watch out under the sycamore. Watch the road open up. Bang, like that. It does. You know, you probably thought that yourself. Like, well, we're in too early, but you're not.
Yeah.
You actually think that's it.
It's
but, like,
almost deceptive with the trees hanging over.
That's it. But like Joey Dunlop used to paint dots. There's actually a yellow mark on one of them. Where is it? Where is it? There. You see it?
Yeah.
There. That's from the Dunlop family. Those. And that's what he used to use as reference tipping. Last night on practice, this was so bad. See the new paint they put down?
Yeah.
It's overlaid. Like it just skips under you. But you want to stay on the right-hand side of the road all the way down. So it's like a motocross berm and you can fire through. So now, at the bridge, 8 mile in now. So now we're coming in the Barregarrow Bridge. You hook a gear out when you jump into it. Now, in newcomers' laps, they always tell you, like, the apex late. You know what I mean? For safety. But
yes.
Watch this again, Sam. We're going to actually apex a little bit earlier. So now, watch the road open. You use all that right-hand side.
Yes.
And now, as a newcomer, if someone's listening to this, Jesus, late apex for a couple of years. My God, because that can catch you out. Laurel Bank, I find really hard, but you're not the first marshal point. The next marshal point, you apex after that, but it takes a few nights to get into it. That's the second marshal point.
Okay.
Backing into the right. Then you hook a gear out. Watch this open up like straight through. 40 mile an hour sign. First chevron, aim for that. Get to it, then tip in like that. It's class. So this, Simon. No coppers there, so black dub, hold it in on the right. Now, the bike actually raises from underneath you there, and you bring it out wide. And watch this for a late apex. Straight in, knee down up there, but you've got to pick the bike up, then your early apex again. But on a big bike, this drifts all the way through. Then you come into what used to be Glen Helen 1, is now Glen Helen 2. So we're on the line now. You bring it out wide, just a little bit how we are. Apex early, and then bang. You hook 2 more gears out. Unfortunately, I crashed here, so I won't tell you how I did that. Straight through, I actually clipped the wall on the right. Ooh. So 130 mile an hour went into the RS2 barrier. So straight down, they've actually re-tarmacked all this. It was very grippy actually. But you can see the water seeping out the tar.
Yeah, you can, you surface.
It was, well, put it this way, it wasn't that grippy, but it was grippier than it was last year. A lot more. Opposite Sarah's cottage is the apex. See that there?
Yeah.
That's what you're aiming for, and let the bike drift out. And then you just work left. As you know, Simon, you're constantly counter-steering all the time through here, and you're trying to get the bike to turn, so back right. And then you come in nice and early, and then you drive. Oh. It's amazing, man. You don't even realise the view you get when you race this.
What, so you get stuck behind a transit van and can't get through?
That's so on. Hopefully. Quick shift is good. So what you're looking for here, Simon, is you're looking for the letter slow. On the road, you tip in. Ready? See this?
Yeah.
Run over the top of that. That's your, like, not your apex as such, but that's your reference to run over. The bike comes light, you can feel it under the bike there. Class, man. So even here, watch, you can see the black lines on the floor they got there. No, you can't. They're washed away. That's great. So back down, you've hooked 2 gears out. Now, what's good about this is you aim for the black bollard. Now, you're not aiming for it, but that's your first point of reference.
Gotcha.
So you've got your knee down here. Watch for the yellow grid on the floor. That's your line. So you run over the yellow, and then you bring it back in. But short circuits, it's all feel. Here you've got physical reminders.
Yes.
To actually push yourself against that. Ah, you bugger. And we're not even speeding yet. Let's have a bit of fun through Handleys. So, yellow grade, and then you're looking for the yellow grade on the exit. So, ready?
Okay.
Left.
Yeah.
So, obviously, we got to use that side of the road, and then right.
Gotcha.
That's your reference. And then you're coming through all the way through McGuinness's. On a big bike, you're just flat out through here. So, it's a shame we've gone these both sides of the road, you know what I mean? So, through here. Back under. Whoop. Here we go. One-way traffic. The road is open. Brace yourself. That's it. So, super twin, you can roll the throttle, but big bike, you have to hook a gear out here. Oh, you swine. Oh, he's done that before. Back in under the hedge, but watch this. The road just lifts on you like that. Bam! Through here, so you come through there, at the top of Barregarrow, you're 6th, back to 5th, enter the top of Barregarrow. And through here, you want to use 5th, because if you go back to 4th, the chain stretches too much.
Okay.
On, turn. Come on, you swine. Did you just enter me there? I think you did. So now we're coming up to 13. You can feel how bumpy that is underneath you. You've got to be on the stirrups, riding it all the time. So when we enter here, you hook 2 gears out. Look for the driveway on your right-hand side. Keep an eye for it. Not tip in yet, now. See your driveway there?
Yeah.
That's your apex. And then you actually shrug over on the left here. And then you don't actually go any further out than where we are now, Simon.
Yeah.
Driveway, not this one. That one there on the right. That's your apex opposite there.
Gotcha.
And then you drift out. Now you see the chamfered curbs? That's for us again.
You see how easy this place is to suck you in?
Yeah.
It makes you want to go fast, doesn't it? Even on this bike, even 2 up, it makes you want to go fast.
Of course it does. You know, and you're on the TT course, and it's easy to get excited. And it's good that they have that, because yes, they have the mountain course, you know, one way.
Yeah.
But you know, you got to treat it with respect, haven't you? And it's amazing that you can still come over here at a race event. That's like every spectator going to watch at Silverstone MotoGP and then getting to have a lap round.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mental, man. But even coming through here now, this is the famous Guy Martin. Yellow line. Yeah. So now we're crossing over this yellow line this close. And in the distance, you can just see that strong yellow line, like just starting to curve in the road.
Yeah.
That's what you're aiming for. Through here, it's like, I'm trying to think how fast you're going through here. 130, 140 mile an hour? You know? And now we're on Alan's bike doing 30. You know, it's slow. But through yellow line there.
Yeah.
Look for the yellow line on the right under the hedge. Imagine if those yellow lines weren't there.
Yeah.
That could catch you out.
Yeah.
That could catch you out. Now, what I want you to look at here is I've actually concreted and mixed in like a fiberglass mix. See this train cover?
Yeah.
Look at the grip on it.
Oh yeah.
So you can run over it, you see.
Yeah.
Because if that was a normal drain cover, my God.
Yeah.
It would just flip
where it is.
out.
Yeah.
But what a lot of people don't realise as well, you know the white lines on the roads over in the Isle of Man? They mix in like that fiberglass resin.
Ah.
So in the wet, it's not as slippy.
Gotcha.
Like a public road stuff, they use the cheapest stuff they can because obviously the miles.
Yes.
But I tell you what, through here, end of the conifer on the left, underneath the signpost on the right, you just tap your knee there. What I need to look for is not the first set of chimneys, Over the jump, there's a set of chimneys in the distance. Look for that. Ready? Ready? Ready?
Yeah,
there.
got
See
it.
it? That's what you're aiming for. So the bike, you straighten the bike up, because if you go over there on an angle, you are changing your pants after. And through here, like, so you come to 5th, you hook 6, and then you're in that positive cam, and you just drive all the way through Bishopscourt. What was that guy doing in the edge? I don't want to know. I don't want to know. He can keep it.
It's the TT, isn't it? Everything happens.
Everything happens at the TT. But Bishopscourt, same thing again. This is like that famous footage of Dom Herbertson on the then Silicon Kawasaki.
Yep.
And he's absolutely crossed up, eyes laser focused, and the bike is left, right. Because you can see with all the ash trees, it just gets slimy underneath. He came through here, all the way, 6 gear, and didn't even think about shutting the throttle, just fully, like, bang, bang, bang. Incredible. But then, at this point, we've only done 1 night of practice, and he's banging out 33.
I know.
Mega.
Yeah.
Mega.
I mean,
through here, this is a straight line. On a bike, that is a straight line. It's hard to explain, like, you know, when you're on the public road,
whenever you have to be on one side,
3 corners.
Yeah.
But super twin, you can hit this flat, right? Big bike, you hook a gear at the top. Look at this for a curb. Ready? Second over the top, and then bang, straight in. Because you're going so fast, you look like you're tipping early, but you're not. You have to turn at the right spot. It is mega.
I've never thought about this before, but listening to you, your peripheral vision must be amazing. Because you're seeing so much things, like you're aiming at, you know, you're using a driveway on the right as your tip-in point on the left.
Yeah. It's
eyes wide open.
Wait, that's the thing, and I think the first couple of nights of practice, I think the exhaustion's not particularly riding the bike. It's mental exhaustion. It's just like, right, what am I looking for, right? But they always say the old rule, it takes 3 years to learn it, 5 years to race it.
Yeah.
And it was definitely in my case that. Because now, when I'm coming in the, like, Black Bridge here, I'm looking for that stone wall.
Yes.
That's my braking reference. But immediately, it's amazing what your brain goes into survival mode as such, and you're like, I'm hurtling down a road on a motorcycle as fast as I can. Where's my wall? You know? But it's mental, isn't it? But every year, it's a public road, you know, it's constantly changing all the time. Oh, here we go. Crosby Bridge. The bobbies. Love it. We just do a roll and burnout right now.
You used to be able to do things like that at TT and get away with it.
Whoa. No, not likely. But it's like we were saying before, it's good that they oh, go on then. Well, you've done that before. I like your style. This is by far the biggest jump on the circuit.
Yes.
Not Black Bridge, Ballacrye.
And no one knows about it. No one ever comes to watch here. I love it.
Give him a nice little... Oh, Flash, what a man. I like it. So, watch for the thick white line, Simon. See how you got nothing? Ready? See how thick that is?
Yeah.
That's our reference. See, apex up, but from a distance, you can see that crystal clear. But now, you've got to cover the back brake. Oh, class. Quarry bends. It is just class. When you think George Brooks, at the other side of Quarry Bends, did 207 mile an hour.
Oh.
207. And 207 mile an hour starts from these corners. So on a big bike, you hook a gear back out now, and then you're driving through on throttle all the way through. Hey. What are you looking for, you weirdo? Nah, subject. You had your chance. So you work in the left, you work in the right, then you work in the left again. And what's interesting is you're trying to keep your RPM up, so when you do this right, you stay on your right-hand side of the tyre, just to
Okay.
keep the RPM up, and then you bring it out to the right-hand side again. But like down here, it's got a blipper as well. That's mega. But like 207 mile an hour. So like, one of the good things about the Northwest being just before the TT is, you know, that high speed braking, like 200 mile an hour plus. But coming into here, you wait for the 300-yard mark board. So Josh Brooks, 207, braking now. That's just class, isn't it?
That's not a long way.
No.
And it's a slow corner, right? So it's like you're scrubbing a lot of speed here.
Yeah, it's like a first gear turn, but on the other side of that barrier is a 6-foot drop. Honestly, it is. Like, on the other side, it's a full drop on the other side of that wall. It's mental. It's absolutely mental. And this is obviously the famous Peter Hickman crash corner.
Yeah.
Like last year, under the lap record, drifted out, bang. Now, I'll tell you what's interesting is we'll feel this bump here, Simon. Ready? In.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And obviously you can see underneath the trees how damp it is. You know, like, even now, but like going through there on your knee, looking for a damp spot, your first lap is like, that's what I love about the TT, is you're going into the unknown. They put a sign out for you, but you're still on your first lap going as hard as you can, not knowing what you're riding into. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You've got an advantage because you know all the corner names. And there's been lots of people this week complaining that they've been putting a board out for you, telling you where it's damp. And if you don't know corner names, it's a problem.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. And it's actually, the mad thing is, you feel that gust of wind there.
Yeah.
Even though you're sheltered by all the trees here, you know, we're like, trying to think, I guess we must be 20 miles in.
Yeah.
Watch this, we'll pass a mile point, it'll be like 10. You know, we're not miles away from that. But this is obviously Ginger Hall. And you can actually feel it underneath your arse, can't you? How bumpy that is.
How bumpy it is, yeah.
And we're doing 44 mile and 21 mile.
21,
yes,
you knew you were around
here.
here.
And then, but now you can feel how bumpy that is.
You really can.
Now, obviously, maybe in a train station by trade, it's because obviously all the root plates are so close to the roadside, it's lifting up the tarmac.
Yes.
Well, that's been the same since 1907. And the Isle of Man could, in theory, tarmac all of this. But you are getting rid of, do I dare say, the history of it?
Yeah. It's one of the challenges of the course.
That's it, but it's like, you know, you need it bumpy, you need it horrible, you need it like you're riding in the Ginger Hall knowing it's going to be horrible.
Yeah.
but it's the same for everyone, and that's the challenge of it. It's class, man. But we're coming back into Glen Trammon, that's 6 gear through, and then you hook 2 gears out. And what you're looking for, left-hand side, tell you what, there's no one coming. Right, so you're out here, Simon, and you're back in, white train cover on the left-hand side. You see it?
Yeah.
There. They whap straight over, back up. And then we're going up to the K tree. And there's your fellow native, Joey Dunlop.
Yes.
Was famous. Now, I'm not sure I've been told this. I'd like to get my facts right, but apparently he put the K on the tree.
Okay. I've never heard that before.
Apparently.
Okay.
Exactly. You know what I mean? That's what you get told. But apparently, the K is for curb.
Right.
Now, that's how you spell curb, but hey,
it makes sense.
That's it. But the K for curb, you know, to see how much it sticks out.
Yeah.
It's a warning sign for that hazard.
Yeah.
And you think, but it's class, man, because you speak to any rider, they're going, oh yeah, the K tree. But what's ironic is, it's a horse chestnut. And that's obviously known for conker trees, but conker spelt with a C. But anyway, that's the politics of it all. But now, what I want you to feel for, Simon, is feel the last of the bumps. Just feel the last of them, because for me, this is the end of the Ginger Hall section.
Okay.
Just feel the bumps, 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 and then bang.
Boom.
smooth. Then it's back to business. You calm down. Now we're on the far side of the island now. At Ramsey. But just the Isle of Man, you're jumping into Milltown. You're jumping into Ramsey, which is 30 miles an hour, both wheels up the deck, and the second you land, you tip under the wall. But if you look to your right, the spectators, there's scaffolding all the way along. Tell me, where in the world can you get that close? You're scraping your shoulder nigh on off that wall, and people are just standing above you, judging you, going, Michael was quicker than that, so was Hickman, I don't care, see, I'm trying. So we're looking, coming in the schoolhouse, come on, at the bridge. Now, there's a copper beech tree. See, I told you I was a tree, so there's a copper beech tree on the right-hand side. You can see that purple foliage on the right-hand side. I'm braking and down a gear underneath that. So you get it on the far right-hand side, bang, bang, through under the copper beech and then straight in. Look at this. Now, there's actually one of the only places with a bit of extended track. It's actually a lay-by for a bus and dropping off the school kids. But it's there if you need it. But in the same breath, if you went into the lay-by, you actually have to shut the throttle to get out the lay-by.
Okay.
You know what I mean? To actually get back down here. But so it's that's why the lads don't use it. But now you're braking hard. Now they retarmacked this 3 years ago. So it was like, honestly, it was so fast entering Parliament Square. But what you're gonna like is how rough the exit is. You look ahead of us.
Yeah, you can see
how
it already.
patchy it is.
Yeah.
It's a junction. But in my opinion, on the whole TT course, this is the worst place to crash ever.
Okay.
Because everyone with their iPhones is out filming you. And it's a first gear right-hand turn, and you just get no one will ever let you forget it. Look at that. Everyone having a great time. With the beers, and you fall off there. The likelihood of getting to it, not so much. And everyone's going to go screaming at you. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
You know, Connor Cummins will be synonymous. Podium multiple finisher, 133 mile an hour man. But he's the hardest man ever to live because he went off the veranda. That's legendary. You know what I mean? Coming over Parliament Square, not so much.
And he just lives up here. He used to.
That's it. So normally they've got bollards here on public roads. So on the left, knee down, and drive it all the way out. Here we go, Simon. 24 miles. Look at that wind.
Whoa.
Up for and about. But you don't really feel it, but like this is a fantastic corner. So on the right-hand side, you can see the black lines already getting put down.
Yeah.
But you see, but they're using the right-hand side of the road. They're not really using the left. Because you don't need to. You know what I mean? You don't need to drift it all the way out. So you stay on the right. But like normally, what they've done in the past is you can see the sort like the water coming out the tarmac. You see it on the side there?
Yeah.
So bad, that, isn't it?
Oh, this must be horrible.
Oh God, bet it is bad. It is bad.
What's worse, here or Governors?
You are?
This one or Governors? Which one's the greasiest and the worst?
Oh, this one's definitely the worst because you can see the public road don't go on it.
Yeah.
You see how that? You see, look at that on the right-hand side. So you actually enter that now. The TT is constantly driving the track, shifting them up with road traffic.
Yeah.
You go on the inside of that. Look at it. It's not used.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So you actually stay away from it. But what's good is they tighten up this apex here. So this is the racing line under the cones. Look at that.
Okay.
Too early. So all the way through, this is a fantastic set of corners. So you work the right and you work the left. Nicely in. Back on up. You haven't 50'd the whole mountain, have they? About to find out. So you bring it out to the left again. Back under. Underneath the cable end. Then hook some gears out. Bring it in on the right, nice and square it off and fire, Bob.
Uh-oh.
Oh, road traffic collision. Don't know what to do here. I like it.
Oh.
And they're getting waved on.
I don't know if that was a crash or someone lost something.
Could have been anything, that. It is blowing a hoolie. No wonder they cancelled it. Interesting. Anyway, back to you. Joey's 26 miles in. You can feel it, can't you?
Yeah. Wow. Michael's new corner.
MDs, yep. Looking for the marshal point on the left here. Right back out, going on to the mountain mile. We'll beat the Hyundai, no problem. They're on the racing line. Nice little new point there, nice and tight in. Put this corner. Solid as a rock, this baby. La 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 la. So 28 miles. We're still on the mountain mile. You see the rain coming in a little bit. And what you want to do is kiss in nice and early, drag it out wide. Apex in, past the bridge, 2 gears out. Right. And you missed the first apex, go for the second, which is there, back on the drive. You missed the third, come back in on the fourth. Right. And you just wait for the wind and blow your knickers off. Filling it is 6 gear, no problem. Super sport, easy, straight through. What you do is you hook another gear out and then you back in on an early apex. What's the damn spots? You watch the transporter, there you go. What's the Range Rover doing? Is he going to stay on this side of the road? Yes, he is. So you missed the third. The last apex is on the fourth. Straight in. And if you happen to know, Simon, no one's overtaken us yet. Look at that. Bungalow in the distance. Last. Hook a gear out. Load up the brake a bit. End of the road. Look at the damn spots. Jesus, wet. Then you're coming into the bungalow. Obviously the cones aren't there. Me. Look at the fog coming in.
Oh. Definitely the right call not to go with practice.
That's it. Yeah, definitely. It was definitely coming in quick. I tell you what, I'm looking forward to you seeing, Simon, is you'll see a lot of lads complaining about Brandish. So we're 31 miles in. Obviously, you're not going to see anything. It's like riding in
I'm not going to see anything.
This is what warfare would have been like in the civils there, you know what I mean? Gunfire and everything would be class. So anyway, back to it. I want you to feel the bump just before the apex. And this is what a lot of the riders complaining about. So, oh, come on. So, new tarmac, right hand side here.
Yeah.
Now, wait for the bump. It's all the way through the corner. Come on, all the way through. Well, he's missed it there. A right turn coming up, right in the middle. You can imagine why. See, like Joey Dunlop could do this place with his eyes shut. It was incredible. And you hook another gear out. Now, you're looking for the two marker points. See the first one on the left there?
Yeah.
That's your apex. The bus is taking over the f***ing road. And you drift it out wide, and you come in with the last marker point, which is there. And you come in the windy corner. You wait for the 300 bar. 300. 200. Now feel this for wind. And nice and damp, yeah? You can see exactly why they cancelled tonight.
Yeah.
Feel out for wind underneath you. And the mad thing is, we'll get to the bottom of, like, the Creg, and it'll be nice.
Yeah, it'll be blue skies again, hey?
That's it. It is me hoping anyway. So then you think right, nothing on the right hand side, but there's a round in the middle, that's great. 33, you feel the king? Now what's fit, like Bruce, I'll tell you what, the fastest man through here, without a doubt, was Willey and Dunlop.
Okay.
Oh, without a doubt. So you see the sign on the right coming up there?
Yeah.
Opposite that, right there's the apex.
Yeah.
Then you drift it out on the other side of the road, like that, and then you come back in. Amazing, that corner. Like William nearly had his elbow down all the way through there. It was class. That, my friend, was the mountain out on the decline, so coming into Kettle Cave. The good news is I can give Alan his fuel money back. There's got a bit of fuel left in the bike. I'll end up spending the change. Well, there goes my theory anyway. About it brightening up. But even Keppelgate, you're on the back wheel coming in the Keppelgate. And you just hook a gear out, and then just let it drip. But you see how they've opened up the road for the sidecars?
Yeah.
You know, filled in the gaps. Like that used to be a trench. But they've actually concrete and put a pipe in. And now you're coming all the way down here now. You'll feel another jump. And off here, if you hit it quick enough, your both wheels are off the ground, back brake covered. And then you're waiting for the 200-yard mark board, especially on the twin. You pass 300 yards on a big bike. It's amazing, man. So it's still on the power, still on the power, still on the power, still on the power, and bang, shut off, bump the f*** out. That's not good to fall off at.
Yes.
Because there's a bar.
Yes.
Not good. Everyone watching you and laughing. But I tell you what, it can catch you out, man, because you get a bit of a wind change and push you down that hill. Whoa. You just, you know, your 250-yard mark barrier should have been 350 yards.
Yeah.
A little bit too.
Being here as a photographer, I've seen more people fall off there than everywhere else in the course combined.
Mm. So what like this coming into this hold on, you're gonna bottom of Hilbury, what's the left before Hilbury?
Brandish.
It is Brandish. Now I'll tell you what, on a 500 classic inline 4 Honda at around about, I'm trying to think, 62 brake horsepower, down here is flat stick. flat stick all the way up the other side of Hillbury. So how fast you go out the Creg determines how fast you go around here.
Yes.
It is amazing. And like, Brandish, well done, that man. The fully on a classic bike, you are just nailed. Straight through. Yeah, it's starting to clear up a little bit.
Yeah.
But what's a good braking marker coming down into here is actually there's a wall on the left-hand side. Another great place to spectate, I can imagine.
One of my favourite.
I bet.
We've already done
so
it this week.
Well, there we are. Fantastic. But you're coming down, you see the wall, when it starts, that's where you brake. Well, you don't even brake, you just hook a gear out. Now, at the end of the driveway is the apex. Not the beginning, you're aiming for the end of that driveway, and then you drive all the way out of it. It's class, because you can rush in, and then if you scrub too much speed, you're not driving on the exit.
Yes.
So you're better off sacrificing a bit on entry, just to get this drive up the hill. The code did well, mind. I bet you're freezing, but...
No, I'm fine, believe it or not. I've got a good wind block.
Oh, there we are. I tell you what, coming down here, you miss the first out, you run over the first here,
Yeah.
you run over the second out where our wheels are, you come to the top of the arrows, and then you back in. And then you drift out of the white line on the right, and then you come back in again. You see what I mean about sheer references?
Yes.
And you can just aim for them all the time. And at this point, the bike's surging. You know, your second lap on a big bike like mine, I'm having big problems with my bike surging. Because obviously the fuel comes past the pipe. Well, you didn't indicate, sod you. An apex under here is underneath the bridge. This is that famous footage of Hutchie on Paul Bird's Kawasaki. He came through here and he mounted that curb.
Of course, yeah.
He mounted it and rode it all the way down. It's really famous footage. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And this is obviously like coming into the nook on the right hand side. This is the traditional part of the track. As you can see, we're going to ride past it. We can normally enter on the right hand side. And through there, you can see it gets no road traffic. It's not drying. So on race day, if it's wet the night before, that is going to be damp.
Yes.
And if you want a good position, you've got to take the risks in there. You know what? You don't have to. But if you want to, you can. Right. Give me a gear, any gear. Happy days. And you can see how sharp that corner is on the right-hand side.
Yes, it's horrible.
Look at that. And it's downhill. Another corner that's crap the crasher. By the way, I'd like to make that clear to your viewers. They're all crap to crash at, but that is particularly crap to crash at. You know what I mean? But if you look over on your right-hand side of your shoulder, look how greasy that is.
Yeah.
But, you know, what are they going to do? Take it out? That's not part of road racing. It's road racing. It's not supposed to be clinical. You know, that's what I think anyway. You know,
great.
Start line. On a big bike, you're doing like 174 mile an hour down here, which is just class. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was a Simon Patterson lap of the TT.
Awesome.
With a Geordie knacker jabbering in your ear. Pardon me, like. I hope you got a good bleep on this, because if my mother watches it, there'll be hell on.
We'll make you sound like a saint.
Yeah, beep, 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 beep. It's just mega, isn't it?
That's awesome.
It's a hell of a circuit.